fan Newcastle ametuzoea sana. But we feel like this time we are going to revenge and it's going to be tough. But what do you think?
But how are you going to avenge them when Newcastle are right now, they are on form? I mean, Alexander Isak is firing on all cylinders. Jacob Murphy has taken a lot of people by surprise. Harvey Barnes is justifying why he's starting ahead of Anthony Gordon. I mean, in the midfield, Gimaresh with his presence, Joe Linton continuing to show why he's better off as a midfielder, Sandro Tonali controlling the tempo of their game. I mean, right now they look like a unit that is hard to break down, especially since winning the Carabao Cup a fortnight ago. So I don't think it will be plain sailing for you guys, even though you have some bit of confidence having just fought for a draw with Manchester City on Sunday. Yeah, you fought for it.
We almost won the game. What do you mean?
No, but you see, that game was, honestly for me, that game epitomized everything that is wrong with the Premier League, in the sense that
both teams.
Yeah, both teams were severely lacking in quality. It's something that has been affecting all teams. Even Arsenal has had that problem for much of the season, where like both teams have spells of possession, but in the final third there is a gaping lack of quality. This guy Alejandro Garnacho looks disoriented playing in that number 10 role, being more of a winger that hugs the line and makes direct runs. You can tell he's kind of struggling in that kind of position where he has to like play between the lines and also at the same time be the guy that is stretching the team and making runs in behind, in the way that Ruben Amorim would want his ideal number 10s to play. You remember Pedro Gonçalves at Sporting Lisbon. You have strikers who are on and off, the likes of Rasmus Højlund.
They are off.
Joshua Zirkzee is has found it hard to adapt to the pace of the Premier League in his first season. I think the only player that shows leadership and is still the shining light is Bruno Fernandes this season for you guys, because he's the only one who doesn't shirk responsibility. Yeah, even off the pitch, he's the only one who's always willing to do the interviews while everyone else barely talks. So heading into that game, I think it's not going to be easy for you guys. Considering the fact that Newcastle, like I said before, are a cohesive unit and they are a team that are firing on all cylinders. So for you guys to stand a chance of beating them, it's going to have to take a moment of brilliance from Bruno Fernandes, in my opinion, given he's the only player that has been sort of like carrying you all season.
Yeah, that's true. But what gives me confidence is the fact that when Man United play against these teams that open up and play attacking football, teams that don't pack the bus, they somehow find a way. There's some space that allows their wing backs and their number 10s to run and create chances. Where the problem is finishing the chances. I think the strikers, if they are on and off, I feel they are off. Rasmus Højlund is not scoring. Zirkzee is not scoring. It's so frustrating.
But he scored against Leicester.
I mean, when was that? That was like long time ago.
Like 2-3 weeks
have already forgotten that. So it's difficult to see where the goals come from apart from Bruno Fernandes. But what gives me hope is the fact that we are going to witness a Newcastle team that is coming to play, not to sit back and wait to counter. And that plays into Man United's hands. I think that the games against Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City, there were a lot of spaces for them to play into. And Newcastle will come feeling that they are the superior team this time.
Yeah.
So they want to enforce themselves on United.
The game is at Old Trafford, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so when that happens, of course, there will be gaps for United to exploit, and they have pace. Now the challenge is, can they finish off the chances? Because even Dogu is getting into good areas, but not delivering the right service. Garnacho, as you say, is getting into good areas, but not doing it. the right way. So can they
got
find
a lot decision making?
Yes, can they find that right decision when it matters? Can they find it to the right place and finish up the chances? Because as you say, Newcastle are a well-oiled machine. They're just off or winning a cup, a beat Liverpool, and I think they've won the last 5 games in all competitions. So, and they have a game in hand in the Premier League, so gives them an edge in the Champions League race. So, of course, it's difficult, but I believe there's enough opportunities for Man United to exploit.
And also remember the fact that Man United will, and it's understandably, will be wanting to put all the eggs into the Europa League basket for obvious reasons, because that is realistically the only way they can get European football for next season. So you get a hunch that Ruben Amorim, who is still trying to find, okay, he's sort of like found his best team in the sense that especially in that midfield pivot where he was chopping and changing for a long time right now, you can tell there's a kind of like a good understanding between Manu Ugarte and Casemiro. Both players are not particularly progressive, especially Ugarte, but Casemiro does have some progressive qualities about him. Something that Kobe Maino, who's better off in the 10 for me, wasn't playing that deep in midfield. Apart from that press resistance, he wasn't really progressive on the ball. But you get a sense that he'll want to like rest some of his best players against Newcastle United with an eye on the Europa League to get into the semi-finals and hopefully go all the way and win it. So for me, that's why I really think that Newcastle, who have nothing else to play for, apart from going all the way in the champions in the top 5 race, now that the teams will be 5 and not 4, they'll have an edge. And that's why, and they'll play their strongest team. So for me, I have a feeling that there is going to be a sense of Jacob Murphy masterclass.
I feel it would be naive for Amorim not to feel his strongest. I mean, what is his strongest, by the way? Because
okay, I think his strongest team is kind of the starting lineup that played against Man City.
Yeah, but they're still struggling. So I don't see what I would call the strongest Man United team. Whom does he need to rest and whom does he need to play? Because everybody that come in has not really performed to the standards that we expect. So let him field whoever he feels is the best, get a good result, because yes, United are not mathematically safe from relegation, you'd say, because they have not achieved the magic 40 points. Get the magic 40 points, then you can start gambling with the team as you focus on Europa League.
But you're saying that United can get relegated?
Mathematically, realistically is difficult, but mathematically is still possible, given the number of games that remain. But I feel it's Man United we are talking about. They need a respectable finish on the table.
Respectable finish. I think it will make sense at least trying to finish into the top 10 and winning the Europa League. I think that will be a considerably good first season for Ruben Amorim, who came in mid-season. Because it will be quite ironic, you are 13th or 14th by the end of the season, but you've won the Europa League. Like, even when you're going to next season to the Champions League, you'll be like, do I really deserve to be here? You'll be like those students that go to an exam room when they've not actually studied for the exam, but they have huge jackets and are there like relying on other people for more Kenya and stuff. So I think that's how it will be. But finishing into the top 10, I think, will be a commendable season. First season for Ruben Amorim. Then in the summer, start giving him the players that he wants, because as we saw in the Nottingham Forest game, these are systems that can actually work with the right players.
But they need the money to buy the right players.
But they also need the money to buy the right players.
So that's why they have to win the Europa League, qualify for Champions League. That's the only way they're going to get the money, but it's difficult.
Or maybe it might be good if you have no season without European football, like it happened for Arsenal in 21-22. That season without European football was actually a blessing in disguise for Arsenal, because it allowed them to rebuild, build a team in Arteta's image, and then the next season, that's when they surprisingly started challenging for the title. which has been the last 2 seasons. This season they haven't challenged for the title, but as you know,
are challenging for Champions
the
League.
Champions League after what happened against Real Madrid. So
we wait for the second leg.
We wait for the second leg. But anyway, guys, what do you think? Do you think Newcastle United have what it takes to beat Man United? Do Man United have what it takes to beat an unsung Newcastle United? Let us know in the comment section below. Till we meet next time, guys.
See ya.
Out.